Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I just got back from spending a few days in Sydney. At the beginning of my cruise and at the end of the cruise, and in case I'm looking a little tired, it's because I got like an hour and a half sleep. I must be completely jet lagged because I went to bed really early last night and I basically lied there staring at the ceiling all night till like 7 o'clock this morning, where I finally drifted off to sleep, only to be woken up by text messages coming through on my phone at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm a little tired today, but I wanted to go over some of the things that completely surprised me in Australia. So I arrived in Australia in Sydney for New Year's Eve, and then I spent New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, got on a cruise, and once I got on the cruise I realized I need to spend a few more days in Sydney and visit more Australia. So I booked another 3 days and I stayed an extra 3 days after the cruise, and there were some things that I noticed in Australia that is completely different, or seems to be different anyway, that kind of caught me off guard. So, and it could be just the little things that you're not expecting when you think of Sydney in Australia. And I did go down the southern coast, so it's not only in Sydney that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a little bit of Australia coastline as well. But one thing that caught me off guard is, and think about it, it makes sense, but at the time it surprised me, is number one, yes, I know in Sydney and Australia, they drive on the opposite side than we do here in North America. We drive on the right-hand side. You guys drive the opposite, so the cars are opposite, and you passengers sit on the opposite side, drivers, etc. Didn't dawn on me that, you know what, that comes to the same thing if you're walking, including things like escalators. To me, I kept on heading to the right-hand side to go up, and in Sydney, you head to the left-hand side to go up. And I kept doing this all the time. It's the little things that you don't think of. Driving, yes. Walking, didn't even dawn on me. Did not even dawn on me as well. Another thing I did notice, I expected this to be a tourist town and felt like there's going to be a tourist trap everywhere kind of situation. And while there were souvenir shops and things like that around, it did not seem like a tourist trap area. There were lots of, cruises and sightseeing tours and hop-on, hop-off buses and everything, but it blended in to the area I was in quite well. And even in the high tourist areas, it seemed like there were as many locals there as there was tourists. So I was kind of expecting things like that, but I also noticed just how beautiful and green you've kept the city in Sydney. All over you saw green. There were parks everywhere. They kept huge chunks of land along the coast, completely green parkland and islands and walking and botanical gardens, and even the condos and the hotels around all had green areas on it. They did a really good job of not making it look like a concrete skyscraper city. They really blended the green and the nature around with it. I think the city is beautiful. You should be very proud. Also, what I also didn't expect is the area around the wharf and the dock where the opera house is and the bridge and everything, I expected to be the tourist area. But I saw so many locals, and that on the weekends, it's a happening, hip, party central location. There are tons of cafes, tons of bars, tons of eateries all along the area, and the area filled up a lot. A ton of people were there all day. And at night, the place came alive with everyone just getting together and enjoying themselves and listening to music. And I'm betting by far there are more locals there than tourists. And so I was not expecting it to be such a party area, and it was. And that kind of caught me off guard a little bit, because in your head you're thinking tourist area, people go back to their hotel, maybe you go out to dinner. But no, it was a very happening place, shall we say, down along the Opera House and along the coast. It was fun to be there. A lot of young people out there just having fun. Another thing I noticed is that your Burger King isn't Burger King. It is, but it isn't. It's Hungry Jack's. And the reason for this is when Burger King moved to Sydney in Australia, there was another restaurant there called Burger King. And they sued and won. And so Burger King all has the Burger King symbols. It's all the same food, and the color scheme and the restaurants all look exactly the same, but it's now Hungry Jack's. I expected Burger King to be Burger King. But also, on the subject, well, not only of food, but on your words in Australia. I noticed Australians don't like to say the full words. You have abbreviated words for everything. You don't say, hey, it's time for breakfast. It's brekkie. And you even put it into your signs. Come for brekkie. When I talk to my friend, she says, hey, how long are you going to be in Oz? And immediately my small tiny brain went to The Wizard of Oz. And it didn't dawn on me, Oz is just short for Australia. But I notice this everywhere. You have abbreviated words for the full word. And here in North America, we do abbreviate some things, but not nearly as much as you guys do in Australia. I found it endearing, and I said, here I am wasting all my time saying all these full words when I can short it and save time. I wonder how much time I would save in these videos if I just used abbreviated words all the way through. Now, I do have some more things, some really great things if you're thinking on visiting Australia, or if you... But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with all things cruising, including places and things to think about when you're visiting the port cities, or you're going to stay in a hotel and you're going to visit these areas. This is 10,000 miles, Australia and New Zealand, from where I live. And so things catch you off guard. We'll tell you about them here on the channel. And we'll also tell you about all kinds of ways that you can make your cruising experience that much easier and hopefully save you a little money as well. Hope you'll join us. Just hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on. And again, I really do appreciate it. Okay. I also noticed out there that you are big on solar power. All the houses, I drove this train for about 2.5 hours down the southern coast, and I noticed hundreds and hundreds of houses along the way, in the towns, in the cities, in the countryside, all having solar power on the sides. I don't know if it's because your hydro is that expensive out there, or it's just your environmental senses that you guys are looking to save energy and use cleaner energy. But I noticed it everywhere, and it's on all the roofs, and it's very noticeable when you take a train. And I guess good on you. I hope it's because you're being environmentally friendly and not because your hydro bills are so expensive. Let's hope it that way. Also, one of the greatest things I found in Sydney is your transportation system. It is fantastic. One of the best transportation systems, and the way you do it, that I've ever seen. First of all, your trains, your buses, and your ferries all run on the exact same system. You can pick up a card. If you're a local, you can pick up a card and you can top it off, put more money on it, just like you would a prepaid credit card. and you just swipe it when you're getting on the transportation system, and wherever you get off, you swipe it again, and bam, it's automatically charged and deducted. Not only that, folks, when you're coming into the city like I did as a tourist, you don't need to get a card. You can use your credit card. You just scan your credit card. Once it lights up green, you know it's been accepted. Remember to do it when you get off. And it's great. It was so simple. You didn't have to worry about all these extra expenses or anything like that. The system goes everywhere. I got to the airport like this from downtown once I knew the transportation system. I got 2.5 hours out to go visit my friend Natalie, all on the train system that I figured out very, very quickly. By the way, how much do you think it cost me to go for 2.5 hours by rail out of town to another town, another city? Wow, it cost me $7. Here in Canada, that same trip would have been in the hundreds. So yeah, very, very efficient, very clean, and I think one of the best transportation system I've seen in a country so far. And then one last thing. Let's talk about your beaches. It caught me off guard because when I picture beaches and when I'm thinking Australia, obviously Bondi Beach is the quintessential beach that you picture in Australia with the big waves and surfers and windsurfers. And yeah, you picture this huge long coastline, and there are a ton of beaches with huge long coastlines. What I found strange was a lot of it is unused other than the beach. What I mean is you're not swimming in it because I guess the riptides are so strong in a lot of these places that they have these flag areas where people are allowed to swim between. And you might have a mile-long beach and you might have a 50-yard place where the people are swimming. So you'll be going along this beach and there's empty beach everywhere, and then suddenly you come to this one place and there's hundreds of people swimming in this one little place. Did not expect that. That's not what I picture, but it's perfectly understandable. It just caught me off guard a little bit. Also in these areas, I am so surprised at how many natural pools that you have built into the rock or man-made right beside the ocean, where you will see the ocean waves flowing into the pool. And there are a ton of them. When I went out to visit Natalie, I saw 5 or 6 in the different areas we went to. And it's something I didn't even know existed. But it is. You can have natural pools. You can have swimming pools that they've built out there, like swimming clubs as well. And you'll find a lot of the places that down in the rocky areas and everything, that's where you'll find a lot of the younger people. And then you'll go about 50 yards down the beach and there'll be this natural pool, and that's where you'll see older people, not as strong as swimmers perhaps, and young families. So it's a very demographic area depending on where you are, but it works. And it's great. You can get the best of both worlds. You don't want the waves and everything pushing you all the time. You can sit in the pools beside the beach. If you do want those waves, you go into the water and the beach. And so, yeah, a lot of things caught me off guard in Australia. Simple things like the escalators going up different sides. But amazingly, the best thing is your countryside is beautiful. Your transportation system was amazing. And I can't wait to get back to Sydney and Australia and visit more of Australia next time. I really hope I can get there again this year. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.